So this is the Teach Me Tuesdays, and I'm proud, and with me is LeafyPeachy.
That's me.
So we're gonna be talking about Dota 2. I don't know if it's a good one, and we kind of just want to talk about Doom. It's kind of the main thing we want to talk about. He's a big boy. He's been getting a lot of picks lately. He's getting more popular. I feel like he's gonna see a decent change in the patch that's coming up in a couple weeks. And you know, he's just a fun guy. He's a little weird. Ursi hates him, which is normally a plus. And he's
an Invoker
just
player.
Yeah, he's an Invoker. Well, yeah, Doom kills Invoker very well, and that's good for anyone. He's big. He's got a big fiery sword. There's a lot going on with this character, right?
He's a big boy.
He eats creeps, and then he gets new powers. He's like Kirby in that way, and Kirby's a great character. So I think Doom is a good human being to talk about. His name's Lucifer too. That's something.
Literally Satan.
Literally Satan. Okay, yes, that's Doom. So why do you give a shit about Doom? Like what? Because you're playing Offlaner, right? He's an Offlaner. We figured that one out. Why? What?
You'd think he was a jungler, am I right?
No.
I mean, back in the day, he was.
Yeah. Yeah, you could form like semi-jungle.
Yeah. But, you know, Doom is awesome, and it's a hero that, like, I tried for a little while. This is, like, quite a while back, but I tried for a bit to, like, spam him in solo queue. But I don't know, I guess there was, like, always a better pick, like, someone that's tankier or has, like, more disables. I felt like you had to get more items. Of course, you do have, like, basically a hand of Midas in a way, but, you know, it was something that I couldn't quite execute properly, but I still think he's a really awesome hero, and his abilities are really cool, and I like playing big boys, so I'm ready to learn.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's not like most of the kind of tanky offlaners are ones that just have, you know, the standard like blink disable kind of thing, or you know, even like Darkseer is pretty tanky, and he's got you know, blink vacuum wall and all that business. But Doom, he's not even a blink user, honestly. Like, you can go it, but Shadowblade is his kind of weapon of choice. He just has like one single target disable, and he doesn't have any way to break Lincolns outside of eating specific creeps or buying items. And it's just a kind of weird situation. He's like tanky, but he has no armor, so he's actually really easy to zone in some circumstances. And he can jungle, but like only by killing one creep, and then he just like has huge issues killing the rest of the camp just with his 2.0 base attack time auto attack. Like, he's just weird. He's weird, and he kind of sucks, but he's not. But he's very good. So I mean, he's fucking bizarre.
That describes him like, that's perfect description. Like, he's a very unique hero, like offlane hero. Like, he's not your traditional offlaner, but like, so you think he's bad because of his general like state of things and his abilities, but like as an offlaner, but I don't know. He's a cool hero, and I think he's not a bad hero, but it's like you just have to play him right, and I don't know how to do that.
All right, so we're looking at a replay here. I, of course, am a Doom expert, and I made a lot of mistakes this game, so we'll be sure to talk about that. But I've played a lot of Doom for a long time. I was the biggest fan of him back before he got changed over. We still had like level death, and way before when I was like not very good, and I would always go like it was like tread drum I think it was phase drum radiance, and that was the most fun a Doom could like ever be. Better days. Anyway, don't ever do that. That's not an endorsement. Better days though. That was fantastic. All right, so we're gonna hit start on this replay, and we're gonna kind of, you know, see what the haps is here.
I'm started.
Great. All right, here we are. So do these starting items make any sense? It's just Stout Shield, Salve, Tango, Clarity, and a Mango. So kind of just all the regen you can plus a Stout.
Question. Mango.
Yes.
Is that like in a jiffy if you need to use an ability to get away, like, you know, your W? Or is that just for the regen, or like what is the benefit of having like a mango?
It's mostly the health regen. And then, you know, if you get caught somewhere, like look at his mana pool. It's like 218.
Yeah, it's really small.
And he gains a decent amount per level, but like Int hardly gives any mana, honestly. It gives like 11 per point. I mean, exactly. And that sucks. So it's nice to have it like in a pinch. Devour is gonna, you know, go up to costing 70 mana. Scorched Earth is about, you know, 60 or so, and every creep ability is easily like 100 mana. So it's nice just having a spare one. There's a fight later on where I use it to be able to do a Centaur War Stomp that like saved me.
Okay.
But it's also mostly like it's mangoes are great for offlaners. It's HP regen that keeps you in the lane, and then when you need it to be mana, it's mana. And also like what other thing am I gonna do with that 100 gold, right? Like I could buy another Tango, I guess, but normally like a Salve and a Tango is good. If you're needing to use more than that, it's because there's enough damage that you're just dying straight out.
I see a Riki coming to take your rune.
Yeah, but we got auto repeat right mouse click on, so it doesn't matter.
Wait, what?
There's a setting called auto repeat right mouse button or whatever, and it makes it so when you hold right click down, it just clicks it as fast as the game can register. And if you have that, Riki can never take the rune from you because you have slightly better priority than he does.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you ever get your rune stolen by a Riki or a bounty hunter or whatever, know that there is a setting in the game that says
auto
never get my rune stolen.
Options.
Yeah, settings, options. It's advanced or something.
I see. Yeah, it's an advanced. It's down on the left.
Yeah, on the midway on the left,
options.
auto repeat right mouse. Yeah, I mean I use that to just get around too.
So you hold it down, and that's just for.
And it just repeatedly clicks forever, like
as fast as the game can register. So why doesn't everybody use that? Does everybody use that? Am I living under a rock?
A lot of people don't. A lot of people get their runes stolen, and it sucks.
Before.
Yeah, well,
usually
it's the best.
I'm got my arm at like a right angle above the mouse. I'm like repeatedly just like jackhammering it, you know?
Yeah, no, you could actually just hold it down, and then that would be a much easier way to do anything. Yeah, like every time it happens, I like try to lecture my mid laner at their like as soon as they get their rune stolen. Of course, they don't know what the fuck's going on.
I see a nice question mark coming from the Pugna.
Yeah, that's kind of a good way to start things. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about their team and what I'm kind of expecting here.
Right.
So they have like a Sven Rubik, and that's pretty scary. Like they both have stuns. They have decent enough right click, and not only is Rubik a stun, but it's also the pullback, and they have Sven's speed to kind of move up to me a little bit, and beyond that, it's not like too bad. I should be able to hide on the outskirts and deal with Rubik, but the Riki here is what kind of gives me pause. And normally you think the Riki is just going to like harass the mid lane a ton. So because of that, I think I'm kind of just against this dual lane, and I get Devour first. And because I'm playing a little greed, if I was playing conservatively, like this is the main decision on Doom. Do I stay at the first creep wave, or do I go into the jungle and devour something? And I think it's just these two guys with Sven kind of worrying about the CS while Rubik is trying to like zone me, and I get the HP regen creep, and I'm feeling pretty happy.
Creep. Oh no.
Yeah, and then this is bad. This is
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad situation. Yeah, so the Riki comes up and just murders me, which is bad.
Oh, that
but,
Sven
it's not all
like
bad.
Spamming well played to his team.
Oh yeah, he's very happy. But if you look at this, like it's not all bad. The Riki was at me instead of the mid laner. And now the creep equilibrium is majorly in my favor. And yes, I fed first blood, but I mean, what does it matter? I'm going to die again here, by the way, that's bad. That's kind of, oh no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's an interesting note though about like you died like really quickly. So you basically instantly respawned, but you weren't at the creep wave anyway. So like the creep wave ended up pushing towards your tower. So you came back in time to get this XP from the creep wave.
Yeah, if you manage to screw up the enemy off lanes or the enemy safe lanes creep equilibrium, it can actually be beneficial to die ahead of time, or rather to just die on the outset.
Why did you get Infernal Blade as your second?
Because I assumed after I had been killed once, I was just going to be dealing with Sven, and Rubik would just be dealing with pulling, and I wanted to kind of like. I'm kind of planning ahead a little bit. I'm not going to use my Scorched Earth unless I'm getting gone on, and I feel like I probably won't get gone on before I'm level 3, and I can start chewing through Sven's regen ahead of time. And I almost am level 3 here, but I'm like just barely not.
Yeah.
And this Riki is still kind of horn dogging on me, which is not fun, but that's the general idea. The two kind of builds on Doom the two damage skills that you're worrying about are Scorched Earth and Infernal Blade. And Infernal Blade is by far the better one for damage output. And Scorched Earth is good, but it's oftentimes like if Scorched Earth can get me away, an extra point in it only gives duration, and the damage / regen is decent, but the move speed is kind of the main thing you're interested in terms of getting away. So, I mean, obviously it's at least good to get a couple points, but I think you can get away with getting more in Infernal than Scorched Earth. And I'm sure you saw there, I went down with the Riki came again, and I'm like a scooch off of level 3.
Well, you can't.
Which is just
I mean,
unfortunate.
there's no way for you to 1v3 that combination, at least in your current state.
I definitely at that point, I mean, I have Devour and that sort of thing, so I could have just gone back and, gotten as soon as like the Rubik pulled, I think there is kind of the better time to just go back in. I get pulled into creeps here, and it's very sad. Everything's fine. No, it's not.
I will be so tilted at this point.
No, it's all good. My team's tilted, but I'm not. Yeah, so anything you're like seeing from this Doom that's kind of like freaking you out or making you not want to play it or scared or don't know what to do? Because, I mean, right now it's basically just me going to lane and dying.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's what I would be doing if I was in this game. Because just like Rubik, Sven, and Riki is just like all over you.
Yeah, and yes, I'm dying a lot, but if I'm dying to 3 heroes, like my sniper is so weak to Riki, right? But here I am, like, taking all the Riki hate, and Sniper is doing pretty decently. If I look at the net worth, he's only 200 behind a Pugna, which is not too bad.
So you're looking at the positives to not tilt.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm dying or whatever, but I know I'm going to get my items eventually. I have Devour as my gold gaining thing. And then also, if you look at the net worth, their Earthshaker is also having a similarly terrible time. So, like, I'm doing kind of badly. But, like, whatever. I'm an offlaner, and I have the ability to jungle, and their enemy offlaner doesn't, and they're also having a shit time. So, like, when you're kind of checking how well you're doing as an offlaner, don't, like, see if you're keeping up with levels with their safe lane. Just see if you're doing better than their offlaner, because that's all you have to contend with. And if you're a hero that can jungle well and they have an Earthshaker, then that's good. Like, you're set. The bad part is when you get to a point where you can't bully their safe laner at all. Like, you see their Sven is at about half health now, just because I've been spamming that Infernal Blade on him.
Yeah, because it's like damage over time. It's percentage too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really good against these, tanky Svens. And then this Warlock comes up for some fucking reason, but don't worry about that. But yeah, so that's the general idea behind the Doom, is I'm just using Devour on cooldown or off cooldown, I guess, to get as much as I can, and I try to just make them uninterested in me, and I try to just slowly eke down the Sven with my Infernal Blades. I got kind of spooked here, so I popped off my W for no reason.
So
that was
you got a second point in Infernal Blade because of all the because you want to be able to like man up against the Sven.
Yeah, I saw that he built treads instead of lifesteal, so it's always really important to check what the enemy safe laner is building, because if they're out of regen, it may just be like, okay, I can just bother them now. So at this point, he's out of regen and has just like treads and just a Rubik there. So I said, all right, second point in Infernal Blade, and I'll just keep trying to punch him. And Scorched Earth, like, if it's up, I'll probably get away. If it's down, I probably won't. Whatever. And the scaling on Infernal Blade is great. It goes from 1.25 max HP as damage to 2.5. So it's like double the HP disruption or damage or what have you. Yeah, Infernal Blade is honestly like incredibly strong.
Yeah. It seems really like the percentage damage seems like you said is really good against like the really tanky like safe lane carries, particularly like Sven. Who else? Maybe like Juggernaut. Although he could probably spin out of it.
Not Juggernaut doesn't have too much health. But yeah, like Svens and Chaos Knights, Lycans, just
like strength carries rather
like
than
that.
agility carries.
Yeah, basically any strength carry. There are a couple agility carries that have a bunch of health, but whatever. And it's also like I can't get over how like incredible the skill is, because it's a 4-sec, like it has 4 ticks, and each one is 2.5 of someone's health. So it's like 10% of someone's health gets knocked down, reduced by magic resistance stuff. And it's a short cooldown. It's only 40 mana, so whatever.
So I see that you're putting more points into your W over your Q.
Yeah.
What's the thinking behind that? Because I would imagine like me, my little 2K P brain is like, more money, good.
Yeah.
Max your Q.
There's a few timings you want to think of about his Doom. There's when you get your Doom, and obviously, like, Doom as Doom. Go Doom the doomed person. And Devour's not going to help you do that, right? But I have enough Infernal Blade that it's going to do a bunch of damage, and I have enough Scorched Earth that It still costs a bit of mana, but it'll probably keep me alive, and it's scaling pretty well through stuff. And I've also just got my phase boots finished up, and I have a creep that's giving me like crit and some shit. And if I'm looking at the timings for Devour, and the only time I really there's Devour having plus 80 bonus gold, and I only need to have my Devour maxed by the time I get that. Because every point Devour is 10 seconds off the cooldown, right? So you definitely want a 40-second cooldown Devour by the time you are getting 80 more gold every cooldown. But you can go, what is it? I think it's 4, 2, 2, 1, and then that's at level 9, and then at level 10 you get the talent. So you have basically 4 talent points to spend besides Devour and Doom before you hit that that point. And basically, I mean, you're going to need 1 in Earth, 1 in Infernal Blade, and then you have 2 to kind of decide between them. And if you want to go more Devour or Devour early, that's kind of like, your prerogative. But I think it's much better to just go 1 Devour and then the other ones.
Okay. But yeah, that talent, I hadn't really looked at his talents. I actually don't think I've played Doom since they put in the talents. Have I? I don't know. Don't think so.
Yeah, he hasn't been popular in like a really, really long time.
Yeah. He's definitely on the low end of pick rates.
As you see, it's like 9 minutes in. I'm still not 6. Ricky is like stealing the last hits on creeps that I'm trying to kill. Yeah, but I mean, that's just what you do is Doom. You like go jungle and then...
Were you tilted right now?
No. I mean, I don't...
You don't tilt?
I've lost enough games in my life that nothing phases me anymore.
I would
except
be
for
so tilted.
Yeah, well, I mean, these things happen, and I'm an offlaner. Like, that's the beauty of being an offlaner. Like, yeah, your game sucks, but like, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're an offlaner. Your game's supposed to suck. And if I'm taking attention off them, yeah. So this is very sad for me. But I mean, that looked decent.
Yeah, it looked. I would have done the same thing probably.
Yeah, and at the very least, I pissed their carry off.
Oh.
Yeah, I tried it, but just barely missed.
Just barely.
Yeah, but I mean, either way, at this point, their Sven can't really do anything. There's a nice Ricky there, and he's invisible again, which is very sad. But whatever. We got a lot of stuff done.
This game are so upsetting.
Yeah, well, you know what? Their Sven is very sad now, and that's all I can ask for. By now, I probably should have gone somewhere else and used my Doom on like the Pugner or something. But I'm only level 6 at 10 minutes, which is not good. That's like where a 4 position support is that got the tome would be.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling kind of down and just trying to do my catch up thing, right? Like if I'm behind, my number one priority is just to be able to like get around the map and do as many things I can to hit my like my gold increasing power spike. Similar to how AM is just going to be single minded and getting their battle fury. Doom is just going to be, if I'm not doing it, I'm going to be single minded and only using Doom. And then after that, I'm just like trying to get experience to get to my level 10.
So I see you are using your Infernal Blade to farm the large creep as well. It's just because it's like, it's 40 mana. And
it does a decent amount of damage. And Doom just like I right click for a decent amount, like I've got phase boots and stuff, but my auto attack is so fucking slow. I will take anything to speed that up.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to use Scorched Earth because that's the only way I'm going to live through anything. So I'll use the Infernal Blade. It's as you said, it's only 40 mana. I've got a wand. If I get in some combat, 2 spells and it's paid back.
Yeah, and the cooldown for your W is like really long.
Yeah, it's like a full minute. It's terrible. 55
so like
seconds,
you're saying so prioritize Scorched Earth like for fighting, so that helps you survive, and then prioritize your Infernal Blade for like harassment, and then also jungling like in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, of course you'll use the Infernal Blade in fighting too every time you can, but yeah, like Infernal Blade is fine to use when you're farming. Just make sure you use it on big creeps, not like a small skeleton and 2.5% of that thing ticks for like 4. That's not exactly
normally
efficient.
I would use Scorched Earth to try to farm because it damages all the creeps in the
camp. No, the damage it does is pretty lackluster, honestly. It only looks like a lot of damage when you doom someone and you're chasing them, and that's like the doom damage plus the Scorched Earth. And it's such a long cooldown that anytime you do anything, like if Scorched Earth is on cooldown, like you're just fucked. Like you don't have the 14% move speed, you're balanced around. You don't have HP regen, so you're not actually tanky. It's just like a really bad situation. So yeah, I pretty much never use it for healing and stuff, and that's kind of why I like getting that Satyr creep early on, so I can just stay on the map.
Yeah, Satyr creep is great.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm also like Okay, so I'm going on Sven again, and this isn't going to work at all. Oh, no, it does, because we got Warlock there. Good stuff, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I'm just sitting in my lane being cancerous, growing up as fast as I can.
Moving at 440 movement speed.
Yeah, with phase boots plus scorched earth is very good. Yeah, so I mean that's just what you do. It's a good time. Like I got terribly shit on in lane, but you just keep your head down and like just keep farming any way you can using Devour off cooldown. You're eventually gonna get there. And if you look at net worth, like I'm 500 above their Earthshaker now. Well, about 400, but I'm doing better than him, and I managed to kill someone that was like over 1,000 net worth above me because I had a rotation and I was doomed. And I've been keeping them top lane for a pretty long time. And as soon as they left the Sven alone, he dies, and I'm sure their entire team, or he's like raging at their entire team. They just like missing a ward or something like that.
Wasn't like kind of a big, not a big, but this was kind of like what was a big nerf to the jungle for Doom?
Yeah.
Was the small creeps being given all these passive abilities, because then that way you wouldn't be able to hold on to like really good abilities. You could just devour anything.
The tiny, like the small boys in the big camps, which is kind of weird, but yeah, like the white centaurs, centaur or centaur, whatever you want to say it.
Centaur sounds like you're a northern person.
Yeah, I would like that though. It's got like an umlaut. Oh, okay. I was gonna say like father my oats with like that kind of like with an umlaut over the like centaur. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and then the potato in the Hellbear camp, that one has skills on, or that has like the magic resistance skill on it, and so yeah, it's super shitty. So I end up devouring lane creeps most of the time. Yeah, just I devour lane creeps. It's just as good. They're more abundant. And I mean, it's still a kill. It's not like Midas, where if you Midas a creep, instead of getting however much gold they give you, you get 100 or 200 or whatever it is. Midas or Devour, you still get the full bounty for something. So if I eat a big creep, I'm still getting 90 gold plus all my Devour. Whereas a Midas, instead of 90, I'm getting 200, which is like, a gain of 110. Big creeps aren't 90 now anymore. There's like 60 because this game fucking sucks. But that's fine. All right. So here I am completely ignoring my team, which is bad. My main issue with offlaning is I get kind of stuck in just kind of sticking in my area and just being like, I'm gonna farm up and just bother the enemy team. But it kind of rewarded me in killing that Sven. But beyond that, like I feel like I should be somewhere else right now, instead of just defending. And I've dust on me finally. But here I have like, all right, my drum is finished up, and I'm like, I'm ready to do something with my team.
Something that you would get basically every game.
No. On Doom, there's a few options. The game that we were going to look at earlier was I went Vlad's first. This game I go drum. Often I go Medallion and then also Blade Mail. Doom is one of the few heroes I really like Solar Crest on still, but it's pretty much those 4 items. I'm probably forgetting one, but yeah, pretty much all of them increase your mana in some way, between Drum giving you mana pool plus regen, Medallion giving you regen, Vlad's giving you the Bassi Aura, the slightly improved Bassi Aura that is, and Blade Mail gives you a bigger mana pool as well. They're all pretty good, and they all do good stuff for you. With this build, I'm very light on armor. So I'm that's like kind of concerning. Hey, that's my phone. But if you look at the enemy team, the only real physical damage they have is like Sven, who also does like cleave, so as long as he's not hitting me directly, it's not that big a deal. And Ricky is not quite going to be pulling out too much damage, so I don't mind not having the Vlads or an armor or something like that. And I'm very much in favor of, since I kind of was just like walking around this game, and I know there's this sniper here that's going to be in a lot of weird positions, and we're going to be moving away from Pugna drain life. We're like pretty much the only way to stop that now is to just run away from it. That plus kiting Sven and doing all these various things, getting out of Ricky clouds. I decided the ambient move speed for my team would be better. But that's always the kind of choice you make. You say like, okay, do I need total 5-man and I'm gonna get a Vlad's to roll over them? Do I need armor and the ability to stand in the middle of fights? Then I'll get Blade Mail. Does my team have a minus armor theme that I can play with, and do I not really need anything incredibly specific? Then I'll get Medallion or something. And then finally, like if my team, if what's most important is just my positioning and my team's positioning and just me being there, then I'll get the drum. And drum also gives base move speed, so it's like plus 20 base move speed, I think, and that is then modified by the 24% of my scorched, or the 14% of scorched earth, and the 24% of phase boots. So like that's a nice little small synergy you can work around with.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So like that kind of like first quote unquote item after your boots is going to be something that gives you what you need, whether it's like mana. You want something that gives you mana and then some survivability, whether it's like, you know, through the strength from the drums or those chainmail from the
or various armor items and stuff. In general, just you're gonna want an armor item as soon as possible. Like you see me sitting there now, I have 2 armor, which is not a good place to be. So I'm gonna get the blade mail next, because I mean, looking at their team, I'm gonna be taking a lot of damage. There's a Pugna, there's a Rubik, there's a Earthshaker, there's a Sven, there's a Ricky. Like I'm gonna be caught in some bad situations.
Why wouldn't you get a poor man's shield?
I'm going to replace it soon. Like, Doom just gets so much, and it's not so much the right clicks that I'm concerned with. It's more like the, just, you know, things. I don't know. It's the 300, like, if I'm not going to get it at the start of the game, I'm probably better off saving my gold for other things later on, right? Like, if I don't start Poor Man's Shield, I might as well spend 300 on boots instead of finishing that off. And then once I have my boots, I might as well finish them, so on and so forth. But yeah, like you need, you know, mana items and a bunch of regen and stuff to be jungling. Like if I just have a 1 tango, I can't jungle. But if I have all this regen, I can. And because of that, you can't really start Poor Man's Shield, and then you can't like really get it at any point. I'm sure you see me now trying to struggle with the incredible long cast point of Doom and completely failing to get it off.
But
it's okay because they were running away from me. No, I didn't at all there.
I probably would have when I did that. Is that what was that? Would that be a good call?
I don't know. No? I'm not sure if
because your Monkey King was like going in. He was like behind you, and he was kind of y'all got kind of slowed a little bit. And I was thinking to myself, I would use drums right there to try to like push through because they were kind of low. Like Pugna and Rubik were kind of like half health, and it's like you at like full health and HP almost. And Monkey King has obviously some fight left in him.
Yeah. There's definitely a reason to use drums there. I was probably trying to figure out how to get my Doom off while repeatedly getting interrupted and stunned and stuff. But there's definitely no reason not to. And it's better to use drum charges than to just have them. And I'm pretty sure I don't even use all my drum charges this game, despite it being like an hour and a half. So that's definitely something for me to work on. I
usually forget about like things like that.
Probably
the biggest item, which is probably like one of the worst items to forget to use, like that's something like that, is the Veil of Discord.
Oh yeah,
I forget to use that all the time. Like on
I have it on like a quick cast key.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's just difficult. Like it's just one more thing to like select and then click. So I normally have it on my quick cast key. That way I can just like in the middle of me blinking in on Quap or whatever, I'll also hit that button and it'll just happen on its own, and I don't need to worry about it. Yeah, quick cast keys are very good for specific things. I highly recommend it for at least your blink. It's like incredible for blink. Yes.
So you have blade mail now.
Yeah, so I went blade mail because a lot of these fights are just me getting tossed around. So it's like, all right, I might as well do some damage during that.
Let's just give him the finger while I'm being lifted and stunned a bit.
Right, and then also if I'm looking at this game, like you need to plan out all of your builds like kind of in advance. So for the armor items I'm going to get, and you see I didn't use my blade mail until I was almost dead because I didn't even really remember that I had it.
Does it doesn't damage Ricky while he's in his ultimate, correct? He's like invulnerable,
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it's like a Juggernaut Omni Slash, basically.
Can you be hooked out of it? I feel like I remember at some point like he could be hooked out of it, but maybe that's not.
They might have been, but they patched it a bit, it's hard to say with Dota what's a bit and a while ago, but they patched it either way. So that you can no longer hook invulnerable units.
It's sad.
Yeah, he's getting kind of kited a little bit, huh?
He went a little too ham. He probably should have run away.
That's as Svens are wont to do. He's under a tower with his god strength wears off. It's not a good situation.
So the next item you're going for is a Shadow Blade. So you're thinking you need to get in close to people before they can get close to you.
So the main thing is that one fight where I got my Doom interrupted like 5 times in a row. If I'm in Shadowblade, I stay in stealth until my Doom finishes casting. So they can't see the 1 second wind up of me doing my like Power Ranger poses and like getting ready to do some JoJo shit, and then they blink away, and I'm like, fuck, that sucks. So instead, I just Shadowblade right up next to someone, and then I Doom them, and then they can't do shit.
Yeah. Who's your top priority for Doom target? I was thinking maybe Pugna, because he's going to be dealing like massive amounts of like I would say Earthshaker, but like Earthshaker, his big ultimate's probably already going to be used by the time, unless you catch him off guard.
Yeah.
But Pugna's going to be like standing there just like dropping shit and kiting around the edge of the fight.
Yeah, and just like healing himself up by eating people and stuff. Yeah, it's not a good time. Yeah, so definitely the Pugna. His positioning is going to be difficult. The Ricky's positioning is going to be good, and it's nice if Ricky can't get his ult off, but of course that's not a priority number one. Also, I have to be worried about, this Pugna is very good.
That was very frustrating for you.
The Pugna is a real player. He just like killed someone
and
being
then
in the trees with incredible range. Yeah, special dude. I think I have that person muted, so I wasn't aware of that.
Good call. This person's been like talking shit the entire game.
Yeah, I'm very good. That's how I don't tilt. I just every time someone says something, I'm like, no, we're not dealing with that. Yeah, so as you see, I'm just kind of getting rigmarolled around, and I can't really do anything.
Yeah, you didn't use your blade mail either.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have done anything though. I think no matter what, you're
probably
gonna
not.
die.
Yeah, that's I don't play Doom / any hero that builds blade mail enough to consistently remember that item. That's probably I'm oftentimes like, should I even build this? Like, I'm just gonna forget.
I think I pick up blade mail more on carries than I do on any other role. Like on like Spectre. Almost whenever I play Spectre, I almost always get a blade mail. But I haven't played Spectre in like forever.
It's rare for me to build that item.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a bad situation, and some of it is self-created. That fight was just very bad, and the Ricky is incredibly hard to deal with, and I don't have a Shadow Blade yet. My lane was bad. Sven got a little farmed, but it's not the end of the world.
Wow, I'm excited about this because they are knocking on your racks right now, and it looks really depressing. But like, I know this is going to be. It's only 25 minutes in, and they're like damaging your racks. But this is an hour and a half game. I'm excited to see like how the tides turn on this. Yeah,
let's go to 2 times speed now so we can get the full experience.
All right,
here.
I'm at 2 times.
Yep, that's good. All right, so I'm still interested in the Shadow Blade. Nothing's really changed.
You used your blade mail when Pugna ulted
Thank you. Yep, got the blade mail up.
He's an annoying little fucker.
Yeah, Pugna is incredibly obnoxious. So at this point, I think Pugna he has a Lincoln's or he's building towards it. And I'm just in a really weird position. But one of the weird things that you want to think about as Doom is, yes, we catch the Pugna finally. That's great. But Doom pretty much always needs a BKB. Like the number of times my Doom's been interrupted, or when I was dealing with that fight at bottom, I got caught in like a Ricky Cloud and I just couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, the Ricky Cloud is really hard for you. Oh, I see.
And then there's like a Fisher that comes out.
You're not getting Shadow Blade anymore. Now you're going for BKB. Is that because of the Ricky Cloud?
Yeah, because
among other things.
Yeah, it was just that fight, and then they're like breaching our high ground. Like it doesn't really help too much if they start high grounding and I have a Shadow Blade.
Because they
like,
probably are gonna drop a ward anyways. Like while they're pushing.
And if they're ahead, they have more gold for detection, and it's not that economically taxing on them for me to go for it. So
that makes sense.
I was like, all right, these fights, I just need to be able to BKB and just run at the Pugna and not have them be able to do anything to me because the Sven won't be able to kill me. I'll be pretty free to just do whatever I choose. Yeah. And if they have a sentry, which they can afford now, then I'll just like die.
That makes a lot of sense. That's something I didn't think about. Is just like as the game goes on, like if you're behind, that the enemy team is going to have more money for detection. So you probably shouldn't like try to use like a Shadow Blade or something to try to come back. You're probably better off going with something more utility rather than like.
It's of course good as early as possible, and also like if I did go Shadow Blade, I know I wouldn't have my BKB until 50 minutes or something. Because despite having Devour in that talent, between not getting creeps to eat, because I'm really intent on keeping this armor thing because it saved my life several times. and it does, later on in the game. I think I'd keep this creep almost the entire game. But the armor talent is incredible, and that's like, all I have is a plate mail or a chainmail on me, and I only have like 8 armor or something like that once I walk away from this tower. And then when I keep that on me, like that means that I don't have to rush a Shivas, and then I can go for the Shadow Blade and the BKB. So every item that you
Why
get
didn't you finish that
is going.
camp?
I needed to run mid because they were doing Roche.
Okay.
Yeah, see, there's a reason.
Okay, I see.
And it worked.
It worked. I just get so mad when people leave unfinished camps.
No,
in the
hey,
jungle.
you don't have to tell me. As a carry, that is my number one pet peeve.
Little shit Pugna TPing out and split pushing.
Yeah, he's a rude character.
Oh, mighty money.
Yeah, he's got some good voice lines.
I really like Doom. He's a cool guy.
At this point, really all I'm worried about is making sure I'm in position to doom someone if I can catch them out. And just being where my team needs me, keeping my armor on myself. Yeah, and we caught someone with Doom, and then we just kill him. And that's the kind of thing where you don't really want to hold Doom, because if I kill someone with it, that's worth. Yeah, that's also like, yes, it goes on cooldown, but that's also like, you subtract the amount of time someone is dead from the cooldown, and the cooldown's like 150 or something on this ability, 145. And so he was dead for about 45, so that's 100 seconds. Plus it's going to be another 20 seconds before that Ricky is in position to do something. So really all I have to do is have like 80 seconds of not needing to kill someone, which isn't entirely difficult to do.
Okay.
So yeah, I pretty much just use Doom if I have to, or if I can to get a kill.
I see you're going back to Shadow Blade.
Yeah, so I've got the BKB that's taken care of, and we're at this.
Because I was thinking like the Shadow Blade is to get in close, but if you have a BKB and you're just running through them anyways, should you maybe
they can
get a
still
different
get away
item,
from me? And we're kind of getting at the point in the game where, like, see how we're out on the map now and we're actually doing things. So I'm gonna have opportunities to get on someone. Okay. And the only really, like, Pugna has a blink, right? So if I'm just BKB walking up to him like, I'm gonna do, he's just gonna blink away.
That's
but we
true.
may actually be able to be able to like sneak up on people at this point. Like once they're
so you could sneak up on him, Infernal Blade. It doesn't pop Lincoln's, but it cancels his blink. So you can't just doom him out of the blue, but you could still Infernal Blade him, so he can't blink away, and then someone else or with something else that you have can pop the
And I almost do that a bit later in this game, but I just like flip out and just don't use any skills, and then he blinks away while I'm in stealth, and I'm very sad. So look forward to watching that. Yeah, is this a good fight? I don't know. This is very strange.
It was
sure, it looks great.
You didn't lose the gem, at least. At least not yet. Oh, that Echo Slam. Okay, yeah, that was was
and
bad.
Aegis runs out. It was not good.
That Sven's a little scary right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're very concerned because our entire team died, and we're going to lose our Rex. But these things happen.
Wow, this is a good game, though. I love games like this.
I'm glad you get to experience it.
I love these like back and forth games. They are so fun. So so you're like on a mission right now to go kill Pugna. You ported to the shrine.
Yeah, so I saw him and I'm just like, fuck it, I can doom him.
Wow. You did it. You doomed him and chased him down.
Yeah, so I mean at this point in the game, if my doom can get a kill, I'm just gonna use it, and I'm gonna run anywhere I can to look for that.
Okay.
But yeah, like a lot of Doom is just you're kind of like that like boulder in Indiana Jones that just like goes through the hallway. But every time Doom is off cooldown and you don't use it, you like stop and rest on your knees and be like, give me a second, I need to farm. I'm a boulder. Like boulders don't need to farm. Like it'll come as you roll down the hill. Like you will grow more through devour and getting kills.
Like a snowball.
But you need to just keep this constant tempo. Yeah, or boulder roll down a hill. That's the way I prefer, if we could speak in that metaphor. But yeah, and like as far as the creep I'm going for is so that I don't have to stop and get an armor item. Like I'm just interested in the parts of my hero that are going to win the game, and that's being able to just walk at people and doom them. Like that's kind of the core of this hero.
Man, Monkey King can teleport up in a tree.
Yeah, he's cool, right? Very, very fun.
I haven't actually. I played him one time, but I haven't actually played him more than that, so I really don't know that much about the hero. Like, in terms of, like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, knowing what his abilities are and, like, actually playing him and understanding the abilities more so is different. But that's wild. He can TP
Yeah.
in the trees like that. Seems a little unfair. Oh, no!
Yeah,
Whoa.
yes, that's an armor.
Wow.
Yeah, so keep the armor creep at all times. It's incredibly good.
Okay, so you just survived a lot of stuff with the BKB,
Yeah,
blade
I went
mail,
through hell.
drums, and then you just kept putting the armor on you too. Phase boots.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so Doom is like quite survivable, and that armor helps so much. Once Lincolns start coming out, you can get the troll creep with the trap. That there's a little ensnare, summon skeletons and shit. That one's really good for breaking Lincolns, and it goes through BKB. So even if someone's BKB Lincolns, you can throw the troll trap and then Doom them, which is great.
Oh, that goes through BKB.
Yes, it does. It's incredible.
That seems.
Also, like Naga's net does that.
Oh yeah.
Mythos doesn't, but Naga's does.
Hers is magic.
Yeah, it's very special. Yeah, so that's like I recognize here that the Sven is doing so much damage, and the only reason I've survived here. Plus, also we have the sniper who's not going to build armor, and like Monkey King has a huge armor deficit. So I'm like, all right, if my frontline friends all have +8 armor, that's going to do more for me than another thing to pop Lincolns, especially if Pugna's not even getting a BKB.
Yeah.
So I'm just sticking with this armor forever.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, I need something else to pop Lincolns, and that's part of why I'm going for this halberd. Also,
Sven.
I mean, halberd is very good against Sven.
And
Yeah,
Ricky,
like,
I guess,
and
too,
Ricky
in a clutch
too.
situation, saving someone or whatever. Oh,
Yes.
no. Monkey King.
We lose Monkey Man. I'm probably dead here too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You have buyback.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
shouldn't have hung
gonna use
around.
it?
It's tough life. I'll try to not, but yeah, this is a very bizarre situation. Oh yeah, I did buy back.
Oh.
I got the little
You
puggers,
zoned,
but
you zoned. You're going out.
I got
Oh,
zoned, everything's
no,
fine.
no. Is it the dieback? Oh! Oh. Oh, man. You tried, but that was a dieback.
we did our best.
Oh,
no.
and the
And
Aegis.
we got their Aegis at the very least. And that's the damage of
The
Infernal
plug
Blade.
net. Hey,
That's the
Doom,
spell.
fuck you. That's exactly what you want.
I'm glad I'm getting the experience of this.
That's Indiana.
Delayed a little
Indiana Jones. Running your, that's his response to you as the boulder.
bit. Yeah.
Hey, fuck you. That was a successful defense, though.
Yeah. So, what are you thinking about? Like outside of just this game, which we are watching, that is very fun. Like in general, like what do you think you need to know about Doom as far as like him? Like was
probably
what?
like I struggle with Doom a lot because you have like quite a few options of like item builds. So I think in general is a lot of times I struggle with like recognizing what's the best item build for this particular game.
It's very much Doom, kind of more, or rather like all these heroes with incredibly open item builds.
Because I would probably
more
consider
than most
getting
heroes.
a pipe at this situation.
Yeah.
Like at this point in the game, I would probably be like, I think
really
I need
did.
a pipe. But yeah.
I really did consider that. But like everything's like a weird jigsaw puzzle where you have to get things that fit together. Like if I had like drum, BKB, pipe, shadow blade, I would just die to all their physical damage. But if I got the pipe instead of the BKB, then I would just be like knocked in the air all the time and not be able to actually do anything. But if I'm able to just, like Doom the Pugner or something like that, then I don't need the pipe quite as much. But I knew there was no real way to fit BKB and Shadow Blade and an armor item and halberd into a build if I got a pipe at this point.
Yeah. So do you think
kinda
every
need to think
game
ahead of time,
you need to have something that pops Lincolns? If they get
pretty
Lincolns,
much
of
a
course.
lot of the times I can just get by with a with the troll creep. Like that's just my favorite creep in general to have. The armor is great, but the troll trap is so fucking good. But this game I was so reliant on this armor because I need this halberd, I need the BKB, I need the shadow blade, and the small armor item beforehand. It's just like I can't purchase a Shiva's, and that's kind of the only armor item besides like Lotus. And what am I gonna Lotus this game? Pugna's just gonna like he can recast his life drain and he goes even on life anyways, and if the other person moves, they're not life draining. I can't really Lotus Ricky.
Yeah.
And maybe Rubik's Stun or whatever, and like Earthshaker's all AoE, so it's like fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, they have too much AoE stuff to really warrant a Lotus.
Yeah, so I know I'm going to be going for Shivas at some point, and like this is just not the situation where I need a Shivas. So I just need to kind of plan around things and then use the creeps to kind of fill in the holes that I can't fill naturally.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes
like
sense.
If I didn't want to build an item that could pop Lincolns, then I would get a troll and then make my build work around
So
that.
what items are your options on Doom to pop Lincolns? Let's see, Heaven's Halberd.
Yeah, Halberd's great.
What else is there? Dagon, Kappa.
Force Staff.
Oh yeah, Force Staff.
Yeah, I can't really think like what.
That's what I was thinking of, like Target.
There's really not
Ados?
that many.
What about Ados on Doom? That's like
Ados
that's like
is
health
okay.
and like intelligence. So like that
Yeah,
contributes to your stats.
It's okay. It just doesn't really fit into the timetable that you're working with, like when you would get that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like not big enough and not small enough of an item, and you've probably got your mana taken care of more or less before then.
Yeah.
But it's like an option. It's just
Probably not the best.
I don't know. Yeah, I think Halberd is almost every game, honestly.
Yeah, because it does help also with your survivability because you're getting the evasion.
Yeah, the evasion is incredible because you're also going to get a big armor item at some point. And if you're, it's normally like your carry getting a butterfly or something that triggers the opponent just, to decide to get an MKB. But if it's like your Doom, your offlane Doom, that the carry's like, I need an MKB now because the Doom has evasion, that sucks. Yeah, wow. So that's where the Pugna just blinks away because I didn't do damage. He's the worst.
He's alt-tetting too.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, at what point do your drums become like relatively useless to the point where you're like, all right, I need to replace my drums? Is that just like the kind of thing that you hold on to until you just like need another slot, or?
Pretty much, yeah. Like the move speed is always going to be great, and the 50% or the 50% mana regeneration is scaling throughout all of this business,
that's
right?
True.
Like it's not like that ever decreases. So like if I lost it now, I'd lose like 2 mana regen or something, and I'd go down to like 3 or something like that. So it's definitely good to kind of keep around as long as I can. And move speed is just great. Like there are people whose talents are 20 move speed at level 20, and of course those talents fucking suck, but every so often you look at them and you're like, I wish I was faster. Like move speed is something that kind of like, it's not like you get more move speed as the game goes on. There are a couple small items like, S and Y is like a mid-game item. And then after that, it's like travels, increase your move speed, and that's about it. But yeah, I mean, it's the move speed is good, and I can just, use my charges as much as I want to and then sell it. But yeah, like I try to keep my drum as long as I can, because the second you lose it and because I'd be moving at what, like 330 speed or something without it. Like that sucks.
Yeah.
That'd be awful. I don't want that. That's a very low amount of speed.
Yeah, it does seem like Doom having, since you're not getting something like a Blink Dagger or even a Force Staff per se, like you're having a fast move speed is going to help you survive more. Because I think like most of the times that you ended up living through these extended team fights was your ability to like juke into the trees and use it, and have time to like use the ice armor again and then use your abilities and whatnot.
Yeah, a lot of running away.
Yeah, lots of running away. Like coming in and out of the fight and running away and turning around. Because Doom isn't particularly like, he's not like gonna be able to absorb a shit ton of damage, but he can regen very fast in a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, he can get like bursted, but if you're able to walk away and then get back into a fight, it's very good.
Yeah.
So you'll notice there I doomed a Lincoln's earlier.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
And that was, I still don't really get that, because I'm sure the Lincolns just came off cooldown, but it was like Sand King did his Burrow Strike, which pops Lincolns, and the Lincolns didn't pop. So I was like, okay, if Burrow Strike connected, his Lincolns is down, and then I doom a second later, and then the Lincolns is up. So that was that confusion.
Bummer.
So that was just terribly unfortunate.
I see you still have your salve and your clarity.
Yeah.
Would you sell those?
No, it's such like a minuscule portion of my damage, or rather of my gold intake, that I foresee a situation where we wipe them outside of their base and I'm at half health, and if I can pop a salve on me or someone else, that's gonna be worth it. I really do like having salves and stuff like that. there's just so many situations that you can find yourself in.
Ooh, yeah.
Where you just, that's what happens.
That I've never really thought about. Of course, this is great. I mean, I never really think about buying regen late, after laning stage, really, like. But holding on, like if you don't use this, because usually what I do is if I don't end up not using a salve or tangos or whatever in the lane, then I just sell them to like be like, oh well, I'll get my first item, I'll get my blade mail faster or whatever.
Yeah, that's entirely like valid to do if you know that you're not like going to need them in the like immediate future. But I was like doing off lane stuff or whatever. Like in farming a camp, I could lose 400 health, right? Because I have no armor and it sucks. But the game happened to go in a way that I didn't ever have to use my salve, and I figured a salve is worth more than 50 gold right now, so I'll just kind of keep it on me. I don't think I use it until like way later, and I think I sell it maybe. But also as the game goes on, when you're regenning in Fountain, it's oftentimes great to salve yourself when you're just in the Fountain. I probably do that on average. Like a game that goes 50 minutes, I'll probably do that at least twice. Just like spend an extra 100 gold to regen faster, because and then you can like get back out faster. Like if you're if they're like high grounding you and you need to run back into the fountain, like if they're on your front door, like buy a salve for fuck's sake. Even like mangoes to like regen mana faster. I've had like I bought a clarity and a mango on PA earlier. Like we finished taking Roach and I had like 30% mana, and I just like sent those out and then used the mango and had the clarity going, because I can't have two clarities at the same time. So I took the extra gold hit to just immediately have something. Okay. So like, but buying regen is almost always good. Okay. Like regen is just amazing, and that's kind of the more like you play Dota, the more you're like, wow, it is worth spending 100 gold to just have my resources back for. I was about to say for free, but it's obviously costs 100 gold. But it feels like free.
I mean, that's like pocket change later on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, every Devourer I'm getting 200 gold or whatever, right? It's like 80 plus some absurd amount plus the thing I'm killing. So like whatever, sounds good. And I always keep a clarity in your backpack. Like that's just the best shit.
Okay.
I normally keep 2, but I have enough mana regen that it's kind of working out.
I never really thought about that.
It's the best.
I remember when I first started playing Dota, and I would come to the lane with like 3 salves because I didn't know what tangos were, and I didn't know how to use them. So just like tank the creep wave, go back, use a salve, come back, take another creep wave, go back, use a salve. Yeah, it's a health potion. That's how games work. You eat health potions. Exactly.
Why not?
So you went for Boots of Travel. Is that because you're anticipating getting rid of your drums soon enough, and you're like, I need movement speed and I need to be able, but also because
that's part of it.
The game itself.
Sorry, go on.
Like,
yeah, like I mean, like just the situation that this game is in is just not like, if we're ever pushing, I'm gonna need to get back to base like immediately, and it's gonna be very bad, and just the whole map is like. Yeah, I just know that like we're in so much danger of getting ratted. We only have 2 Raxes left and no towers. That I'm just going to need the travels to get around where I need to be. And there's no one item right now that's going to radically transform anything. Like I have my halberd. I'm not too like I have my creep for armor. I have the ability to break Lincolns. I have BKB. I have Shadow Blade. There's not anything I need like too badly right now. I actually have a lot of issues like deciding what item to get next.
But you're going to complete your Silver Edge. Which the Silver Edge, what is that giving you? It gives you some stats, of course. But what? Yeah,
the shorter cooldown on stealth is one part of it. Okay. It's not so much the passives, of course, that does help, but the damage reduction also is incredible. Like if Sven is in BKB with God Strength, between my disarm and because I can disarm him and then he BKBs, then he'll be disarmed. During the BKB even. And then after that, if I Silver Edge and hit him, I'll pretty much invalidate his entire BKB, because Silver Edge also reduces the damage people deal by like, 40% or some shit? Yeah, so it's very much just the damage reduction. And I'm just trying to like play the anti-carry at this point between disarming people and dooming.
Like that's
and
really what Doom is.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Kind of like the Antichrist.
I would definitely agree.
Because he's Satan.
Yeah, he's very satanic. Yeah, it's a 50% damage decrease on Silver Edge. Yeah, and yeah, as you said, the stats are nice, but yeah, it's like extra damage per hit. It's honestly mostly because I don't have anything incredibly great to get at this point. I don't think.
Yeah, like what other item would you get? I mean, Shivas maybe.
I'd go Shiva's next, of course, but like, what's that really going to change? You know, like it's going to be like an incremental difference, and it may feel really great like once or twice to get vision somewhere, but it's
What
not
about,
going to
like,
radically
AC?
alter this fight. Yeah, that was the other option I was thinking of, but I felt like if we were holding on to someone, they were gonna die. But yeah, that was also the choice that I was thinking of.
Wow, what a game.
Yeah, AC is good on him. Yeah, it's quite a game. I probably should have gone Blink here, in all honesty.
Oh, really? Just to close the gap between you and other people?
Yeah, like, Shadow Blade is really nice, but it doesn't take care of every issue. Just to be able to... yeah, I mean, the Sven is, like, blinking on me and stuff, and I don't know, I'm just getting kind of caught in weird positions. And even if I do want to use the Shadow Blade, and, like, you know, I'm defending, like, 2 lanes and all that stuff, a fight may happen on one side of the base, and I have to, like, walk all up there with Shadow Blade, like, that's not really going to happen. So probably Blink would have been the correct thing to go here.
I wouldn't have really thought about Blink.
Blink is definitely really good on Doom. It's just incredibly shitty that your ulti has such a long cast point that you can't really utilize it.
I feel like it's kind of...
But if you have them both in tandem, it's decent.
Yeah, I feel like with like Doom specifically, like you said, we were talking about at the beginning, is most standard like offlaners right now, like Earthshaker and like Darkseer and stuff, like they get Blink daggers like as a core early item for them, because they need it. But Doom is like, you're not really tanky until later in the game, so holding off until getting a Blink till later is probably more ideal than getting it first, you know, because you want to prioritize items that are going to help you have more survivability and durability rather than throwing yourself into the fight.
And also the farm speed that you get with like just the attack speed that you gain goes a long way, because you're not getting attack speed anywhere else. So you have like 1.0 agi gain, you know, 0.09 or 0.9 agi gain per level. Like, you just have no attack speed and that 2.0 attack speed. It's like your Infernal Blade actually takes so long to get out, but getting more points or getting more attack speed from the Shadow Blade actually helps the, you know, pseudo cast point on Infernal Blade, helps it come out actually faster, which is very good.
Question on Doom. Yes. How do you feel about Guardian Greaves? I know people used to do that.
I love them.
And I did it one time in a game, and my team flamed. Oh,
yep, I got the courier killed. I get a lot of couriers killed. I don't know if you know that about me, but if we ever play a game that's long together, I will get a courier killed.
Right then, as the courier's about to die.
Yeah, it was not good. That's why I went and I looked away, and I was like, I don't want to look at that. That's no good.
Anyways, yeah, I feel like it's a good item, because you're gonna be like you're like a front runner with your team. You're almost always surrounded by your team. You're like never really you're rarely going on like,
and it gives armor.
Yeah, and it's armor and it's mana, which seems you know. But like, what kind of situation would you go Guardian Greaves over like Phase Boots?
If you knew it was going to be like a 5-man-y game and your team really wasn't going to get a lot out of Vlad's, I think is where I would look towards that. My main issue with it is it doesn't let you get Phase Boots, and it's kind of just going to be your first, your first item's going to be a mech, and it's just going to be kind of weird. I don't have a lot of experience going that build in this patch, but in the past, you know, I liked it a lot, and you'd be a little bit, you would kind of use Scorched Earth a little bit for farming, just because you have so much mana that you want to kind of use as much as possible with the mana boots, but in general, it just kind of plays a little weird. You don't farm quite as quickly without the phase. You don't get to people quite as quickly, and you normally kind of want to go like Blink with it, because you can also, you know, Blink Guardian Greaves and save people.
Okay.
But this game, I kind of felt like I wasn't getting a lot of farm. Like, I was level 5 at, you know, 9.5 minutes. So I wasn't going to be able to get those items at a time where it was actually good. Like, Mechanism just isn't a great item. It
People
costs
don't really
kind of
buy
a
it
lot.
that much anymore, honestly. Like, I haven't been seeing
just
it
like
that
every
much.
other support item does so much more, right? Like, I could heal you for 250, or you could just be fucking invisible and take no magic damage. That's the other option. And that's a much better option. Or I could just push you away from everything that's killing you.
That's what I was thinking.
You know,
it's like Force Staff is like Glimmer Cape and Force Staff. It's like, I'll just save you so you can get away, instead of like spending all of this gold for like a small amount of healing and like, you know, some auras. Yeah,
the only thing that really, really matters about a mech, or rather with mech, is if you're, one, once you get it to Greaves, and two, if you're like actually next to, you know, like if 3 or 4 people are getting the heal, then it's very nice. But outside of that, like, no. And yeah, if I'm not having a good game, there's not really a reason to go for it.
Mm-hmm. So Guardian Greaves, generally speaking, would be something you would get if the game's going really well, you're pretty wealthy, and you're going to have a lot of team fighting together.
Yeah, for sure. And also it has an armor component to it, so if you are, dealing with a decent amount of physical damage, it does give your team armor when you pop it. The Guardian Greaves especially, it's like, I don't know, once they're like low enough health or whatever and all its little conditions are met, it'll give them like 15 armor or something stupid like that. But in general, I wouldn't really suggest going for the mech and the Greaves and all that business. I think the safest thing to do is just getting the Phase Wand. I think Wand is really good on this hero. Phase Wand, and then either normally Drum is the way to go, and then after Drum you want to get a little armor item, be it a medallion or a blade mail. One of those two.
Medallion if you're being more offensive, and blade mail if you're being more defensive, probably.
And your team kind of wants a solar crest or whatever, or your team has some interest in you reducing their mana, that sort of thing. But it's mostly the way you want to plan your build is, of course, Phase Wand, and then you're going to get two kind of small medium items, relatively small items, early mid game kind of stuff, and then you're going to want some kind of either Blink or Shadow Blade, and then a BKB, or BKB beforehand. There's a lot of people who go second item BKB, and that's completely viable. It's actually very cool and good.
I hate this Pugna.
Yeah, the Pugna was very annoying. I didn't like them either. That fucking hero, man. Just when he puts his when he gives you the
especially
suck,
when he all chats Raffle after everything too.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that part, but he just gives you the suck, and you're just I'm gonna walk. I just have to leave.
Yeah,
I just have to walk away
turn
from
around.
You now. Ugh.
Nice scan
He's
coming
got that blink
through.
too.
Yeah, the blink is really annoying.
It's very good.
So you traded your blade mail for the Shivas. Would you sell your blade mail, or are you holding on to it?
I'm holding on to it because I have the gem. So if I ever lose the gem, I'll have my blade mail. That makes sense.
So if you have a gem, you kind of want to have your backup item. Don't just sell it and.
Yeah, because I could die
even if it's something
very easily,
a magic
as this game
wand
is
or
pointed
something
out.
like that.
Yeah, I would say so. And also, looking at my gold, I'm going for a sheepstick, and no amount of selling of a blade mail is going to mean I can get a sheepstick at this point. So I might as well just save it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I may lose gold if I die, but kind of, whatever.
Oh, nice. 4 staff coming through.
Yeah,
Such
double
a good
4 steps.
item.
That item is, that's a very strong item.
I think Glimmer Cape's my favorite item.
Yeah, 4 staff, I think. Desolator, but then 4 staff.
The noise it makes is cool. Yeah, you're protecting your sniper a lot because he's got a rapier. Oh, you snuck up.
Yeah, that's kind of all we're doing. Oh, no.
You bought back.
But,
you're traveling back into the team fight. Uh-oh, never mind. You changed your mind.
Nope.
Everybody's dead. Party's
dead.
over.
We lost our rapier.
Yeah,
everything
that's
sucks.
Unfortunate. So I'm assuming Sven's going to pick it up.
No, the Rubik got it.
Okay. Well.
Yep. This is also the main reason, or one of the main reasons I got Shivas. I could have gotten AC, of course, but I knew they have 2 lanes of of super creeps, and I need more AoE. I can't just have my lone W. So the Shivas does help a little bit, and deals with them blinking around and hiding in places with the vision that it gives.
Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't go Shivas and Assault Cuirass?
Probably not, unless it was a really, really damage-heavy game.
If they're all really right-clicky.
Yeah. It's really easy to get kind of tricked into thinking, oh, I'm absurdly tanky, all I need is armor. Because if I didn't have, one of these items that gives me a bunch of strength, I would just barely have over 3,000 health, which is that's how much a hero has at level 25. That's not a lot. So if I get, an armor item instead of halberd or something here, I don't have my evasion,
you're getting strength
and
from halberd,
I'm down a bunch of health.
BKB, and a little from
it's giving me
Silver Edge.
Silver Edge. Yeah, the Silver Edge is giving me 300 health. The halberd is giving me 400 health. So if I swapped out anything, it would be the blade mail or whatever. But I've got enough armor here with my ice armor as well that I'm pretty happy just getting a sheepstick, because I feel like a lot of the times I'm just kind of getting screwed up as just, like people who are not sheep. If they're sheep, it doesn't matter. But if they're not sheep, then I'm going to get pooped on.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're getting a sheep sticked, Alex. You're getting a sheep stick. And you're getting that because their BKBs are low. You want to be able to interrupt
for sure.
what they're doing. Your target is what,
a
Sven
big
or
part
Pugna,
of
I guess?
just anyone really. A big part of your itemization is you want to go over the previous fight that just occurred, and you want to think to yourself, like, what happened there and what would fix that. So the fight where I didn't get my Doom off because I got interrupted 4 times, that's when I was like, okay, I need a Shadow Blade. And then the next fight, I just kind of got like blown up no matter what, no matter kind of where I was. And I was like, all right, I know in the next fight like is probably going to be in front of our racks or something like that. I need a BKB, not a Shadow Blade. And then in that high ground attempt, the fight wasn't like, oh, I needed armor or whatever. It was like I had noticed a lot of people weren't glowing yellow. So next fight, I'm going to try to aim somewhere where I can make them, like die if they're not glowing yellow. So I'm going to get the sheep stick or make them stop. And I got my Doom stolen here, which sucked because I didn't have any spells up.
Yeah.
And I think we all die because of that, which was very fun.
Oh.
But yeah, that's another main thing is you want to...
Sorry, go ahead.
If you're going to Doom... Yeah, my Doom got... my TP got canceled there also because I just clicked and I was like trying to go real fast. Yeah, these are definitely incorrect plays on my part. So, we all have places to improve,
perfect.
especially me.
It's okay.
I know. But yeah, so I mean, those are things that you should watch out for when your boots are traveling to help your team. The other creep wave was very far, and I was like, maybe they just won't. But you should really check somewhere before you just go, click on the map to travel somewhere.
What about Ags on Doom right now? Doesn't it silence
Ags is definitely
items? Right? Isn't that what it does right now?
It already Doom already does that.
Does.
The Ags makes the cooldown or the timer like I guess
shorter.
Increase or stop ticking up. While you're around them. So you can have a Doom last, like 100 seconds as long as you're next to the person.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's, another place where BKB comes in handy and move speed and all that business.
So in what situation would you go for that? I mean, I guess it seems really cool when you first say it, but then at the same time, it's kind of like, do I really need to be focusing on one person for this long?
Yeah, and it's already like I have enough difficulty actually getting the Doom off. It doesn't make sense to put all my eggs in the unlikely prospect that I actually get it.
Wow. And you won. Would you look at that?
Yeah, we pulled it out.
I love games like that.
Yeah, it was very stressful. So that's
I would be yelling right
and as
now
you see,
if I was in your position.
I was very happy. This is quite late at night. So not a ton of yelling, but it definitely felt good to be like 0-5 in the early phase and then, finally win it out with like an even score, which isn't too great, but whatever.
It's not bad.
Yeah, Doom's great, man. I'm a big
I feel
Doom fan.
inspired.
Yeah, it's as long as you keep your head down and you keep getting your Devourers off and you have a smart build, you will always do decently on Doom, in my opinion.
I feel like he's always going to be a relevant hero in the game, like as long...
Yeah, no matter what, as long as you can get your Doom off, like you just want to itemize in a way to make it so that you can always get through, like get behind enemy lines and get your Doom off. Nothing else really matters. And it doesn't exactly matter too much who you Doom. Pretty much everyone has skills, right? Like anyone who's all passives has been reworked at this point. So most people, like outside of Sven, who already has BKB popped and God Strength, like that's probably not an interesting Doom target. But if he hasn't got like BKB'd yet, even that's fine. Like Sven has God Strength up, like whatever, I'll Doom him, and then he can't BKB, and then we just control him. It really doesn't matter too much what you Doom. As long as you take someone out, it's gonna be more or less a 4v5 fight. Like I could Doom Ricky, and then it would not be difficult for us to, then Ricky won't slow us anymore, and we can get on top of the Pugna. I could Doom, Rubik or whatever, and then we're not going to get lifted and thrown back. Or I could, Doom Earthshaker. We're not going to get stunned up. Then we can kill this Pugna. Like taking almost anyone out of a fight, unless they're like an 0-10 Crystal Maiden who doesn't have ulti yet. Like taking someone out of a fight is going to make the fight easier, no matter how you do it. It's more important that you get your Doom off than you die trying to get the perfect Doom off.
Yeah, and it tilts them.
Oh yeah, everyone hates getting Doom. Just ask fucking Ursi.
Invoker player Ursi.
Yeah, and Doom is like his least favorite hero for that exact reason.
Yeah. Well, I feel inspired. I want
It's
to.
good
I
stuff.
think I'll play some Doom this week.
Well, all right. Well, that's your homework. If that's something that still that happens.
Teacher, please give me my requested homework, which is playing Doom. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So you're gonna play Doom, and I want you to think a shit ton about the first two items that you buy and how that fits down the road. Like, not like boots
After
and veil or
boots,
boots
yeah.
and wand or whatever. Like, yeah, your whatever armor item or all those things. Most normal thing to do is get drums and blade mail. I think that's fairly standard. But there's like a strong argument for like drum solar crest is incredible. Even like fucking I don't know, like Vlad's solar crest if you need a shit ton of armor. Drum Vlad isn't too bad if you're just doing all that 5-man
And
snowballing
that's
and
like
stuff.
if
Like
you
really
have
any
like
combination
right-click
of
heroes
these.
on your team.
Yeah,
could-
yeah, and if not, maybe you would want to go, yeah, like drum, and then if you wanted to like really 5-man, no, I would kind of just get. Honestly, you could get like Helm of the Dominator wouldn't be bad either if you had like drum, an armor item plus helm like that. That would be great. Something like that would be cool. Yeah, I would definitely
There's so
like
many
to try
options for
Dom on this
Doom.
hero too. Yeah, it's very cool. But let's try to just limit it to those
Okay.
four and not throw Dom in there because that's kind of like weird tech. But yeah,
Keep it
just
simple.
those four, and
Yeah.
yeah, and then afterwards, Shadow Blade or Blink, and then BKB. Like, get the BKB early. It doesn't matter, just get it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Cores with BKBs are just awesome, no matter if they're off lane or what, because it means they need to pay attention to you and they can't just kind of swat you away, which is great. Like Doom wants to take as much attention from the enemy team as possible. Like I was playing with that sniper. Just like, oh, someone's porting in, I'm going to throw my face at them and Infernal Blade them. So they can't like blink and, get the sniper and all that shit. Like if you're BKB'd, they need to be looking at you.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah,
great.
that's definitely. I definitely saw some things like that I misplay with Doom. So this was a very educational episode.
Yeah, make sure you feed First Blood
5
immediately.
times.
And that's like, yeah, 5 times. That was a little excessive, I will say, but you know what,
Make
whatever.
them think you're playing for their team and give them a false
Yeah,
sense of security.
If they think, man, this game's so easy, this Doom's just feeding nonstop, and I'm like, little do you know, I'm feeding on creeps at the same time.
And wait till I hit level 10.
And then I'll have remotely decent net worth. I still had less net worth than the Rubik at the end of the game, just so we're aware. But it's fine. Oh no, the Rubik had the rapier. Okay,
That's
that makes
why,
sense.
yeah.
I was like, how the fuck did that happen? Yeah. I always love the graph of net worth when a rapier gets dropped because it's just like
Just
immediate,
swings
complete
all over
shift.
the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks.
All right. I
This
think
was
that's it.
that was a fun game to watch.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad I got to relive all those deaths and then the times where I didn't die.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this has been Teach Me Tuesday, and you can follow us on Twitter. Okay.